Alright guys, we are doing block 2 for this block of the month, month 1. It is a traditional log cabin, but the colors are in a specific arrangement. So you just have to be careful that you're putting everything in the right order. I started with the first 3 pieces. Log cabins are pretty easy. They just start with a square and then you build on more and more rectangles until you get the shape of the block that you need. Like I said, this one's pretty traditional, pretty easy. Just making sure that the colors are on in the right order. I did all the cutting for the blocks at once, just so I could just go and sit down and sew these when I had time. I hate cutting, for those of you who don't know this, so that was really not a fun time. But now we're to the fun part. So again, I backstitch at the start and stop of every single piece I do in every single quilt block. I know a lot of people don't do that, but I do. But yeah, remember how I said that you need to put the colors in the right order? Here, when I get back into frame, you'll see that I actually had to rip out this block because it was in the wrong spot. I mixed up 2 colors. You can see the block that's actually supposed to be in the spot sitting there on my machine. But yeah, so I ripped out that block and got started on the next one. Alright, so here I am sewing on the correct block for this order. Orange one first and then the red one instead of the red one first. But they're actually the same size, so that wasn't too hard of a mess up. Anyway, put these on the right way, and I'm putting on a couple of blocks at a time, just finger pressing them instead of taking them over to my iron, because for me to iron, I have to get up, walk all the way around my dining room table, iron, and then come back to sit at my machine, and it's quite a pain, so I'm just finger pressing where I can. But I also don't want to do too many blocks without pressing, because then it could end up distorting the final shape of the block. So I'll do 2 to 3 pieces at a time, finger pressing in between. This block also gave me some trouble while I was putting it on, or this little strip of red, and I'll go over it again to try and get my seam straight, but I realized that I probably should have changed my needle. I didn't until I finished all the blocks in this month, but then I did. So hopefully next month's blocks will go a little bit smoother. But you kind of saw me showing you there about how the seam was not straight. Because I needed a new needle, it kept kind of like pushing the fabric out of the way and kind of having a wonky seam when there was a seam that I was going over with my stitching. Thankfully it went into the seam allowance, so I didn't need to rip it out. I just did another pass at it. But yeah, as I said, this log cabin block is pretty straightforward, so I'm just gonna let you watch till the end. Okay, here's the last strip. And ta-da! She looks so pretty with the backlight. All done.